Hi everybody, Beardychiel here, and a few weeks ago, before things hit the mayhem that I've described in my last podcast, I was chatting to a young friend who's quite keen on craft, and she had been looking at the two-colour beanie that I knitted for little Leo a while ago. And she asked, how do you do that? And because I was working on developing the beanie class for Aberdeen, I said, why don't you come in and I'll show you how. And I know that she is a very, very keen amateur actress. I've performed with her in several plays, I've directed her as an actress. And I said, would you object to me recording it and using it for one of my podcasts? And then I thought, it's not actually part of Beardychiel's knitting banter as such. So let's create a new podcast. It'll still be Beardychiel, it'll still be in the same channel, but rather than Beardychiel's knitting banter, in keeping with the driving traditions in the UK, it's called Beardychiel's L Plates. And I'll be looking to spend time with Rachel, who you're about to meet, and one or two other knitters as they make their journey into learning new techniques with help from Beardychiel. I hope you enjoy it. It's a complete experiment, so your comments at the end would be greatly appreciated. It was completely improvised. No forward planning, let's just try it and see how it works. And as always with things like that, there were mistakes. So I've kept most of it in. I've edited out one or two bits where the conversation was just completely mundane or went so far off topic that it's not relevant to what we were trying to film. But hey, we'll suck it and see. So welcome to Beardychiel's L Plates. The first one is an introduction to two-colour brioche, and we're starting, of course, with a new cast on. Hope you enjoy. See ya! Welcome folks to Beardychiel's Conservatory. I'm with Rachel today, who is a long-term friend. I've known her since she was one of my students when God was a boy, shall we say. About 15 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And we have appeared on stage together. I've directed her and stuff in the local theatre, and she's a crocheter and a part-time knitter, and she fancied having a try at one of the brioche beanies, but had never done that, and said, will you show me what to do? And I said, yeah, alright, as long as we can film it and turn it into something for the podcast. And Rachel, having a bit of an Amdram background, said, aye, okay. So we are going to be looking at the construction of the brioche beanie that Leo stole. But she'd never done anything like this before. So we're going to break this down into 4 or 5 bits over the next few weeks, and you will get to see this beanie from first introduction to how to cast on, right through to finished item. And I hope it's going to be fun, and I hope it's all going to fit, and if it doesn't, we'll wing it anyway.
Knit and purl is about as far as I've got.
Well, funnily enough, you don't have to purl an awful lot for this one. Right. Right, only every second stitch. Really simple. All you want to do is make a slip stitch. So any way that you're happy to make a slip stitch.
Right,
make a slip stitch.
That.
Now there's a couple of different ways of casting on, and the method that we're going to use to cast on is called a tubular cast on. Now the tubular cast on is really useful because it's incredibly stretchy, it's quite nice and elastic, and it holds nicely to the top of your head. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. 2 strands of yarn. The one that's at the back, right?
So that would be the brown one.
Is going to be whatever you want as your foreground colour.
Right.
So whatever you decide is going to be the foreground colour. We're using just some scrap yarn for practicing today, and then she's going to swap down to some double knitting for the actual project. Now this is really, really hard. So you catch it
Thanks, John.
like that. So you're catching one over your forefinger, one over your index.
Like that?
You're left-handed.
I'm right-handed.
Right, we'll swap it round so that you're mirroring me, because it's your right hand that's going to do the work.
Right, okay.
The left hand's just going to have the wool stuck on it, but it's the right hand that's going to be doing all the work. Right, so it's like that. That's it, you've got it. Okay, so we are really hard. We're going under the brown and up in the air. And then we're going to make a complete circle around the outside. All the way around. No.
All the way around.
All the way around the outside, under the both of them and back up to the top.
Is that
and then we're going
right?
we're going to do the same thing again. Yeah. And then we're going to go down through the middle, up through the back one, and there are going to be 2 stitches sitting on your needle. Yay! And you're going to have right, you've got blue as your foreground colour because you've got brown over your thumb. So that's it. So let's do it again.
Okay.
Down at the front and up under the brown. So come right over the front.
That way.
Sorry. My brain's gone. Yeah, no, you're right. Hook under the brown. Then 2 full circles.
1, 2.
Down through the middle and up under the blue.
Down through the middle.
That didn't work for me. And I've been doing this for years. That was clever. Right. I know I was right the first time. You're going under the outside. So let's take them all off, right back to just that one slip knot.
Right.
Right, so we're going, and that way you can swap round to get the brown at the front, which is the brown at the back, which is what you want. Brown at the back.
Brown at the back.
Right, so we're going down the middle and under the blue, right, and then 2 circles.
1, 2.
Down the middle and up under the brown. And that should leave. God almighty, I've been doing this for years and today I can't get the damn thing to work, right?
It's always the way.
Let's do that again, John, just for your own peace of mind. Right.
You know what they say, those that can't do, teach.
Listen, you.
I'm just being playful.
Right. You're going outside the blue.
Outside the blue, right.
Yeah.
Not in, right.
So you're going outside the blue.
So like that.
Oh, that's got a twist in it. I'll take that twist out. So you're going outside the blue, up through the centre. 2 full circles.
1, 2.
Down through the middle and up past the brown.
Past the brown.
And that should give you
I've got
a foreground.
And I've got my brown stitch and my blue stitch.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, and then we're doing the same again. Outside the blue, up through the middle, 2 circles.
1, 2.
Down through the middle and up round the back one. Okay? Again, under the front one, 2 circles, down through the middle, up under the back.
Does that look about right?
That looks absolutely fine. Just slide them back so that they're all together and your fingers will hold them on. We'll do that a couple more times. We want to end up with, I think, 10 pairs. Just to make life easy. So what made you decide that you fancied a hat?
Well, I don't actually have one.
Well, that's as good a reason as any.
I was out and I was thinking, my head's really cold, I should buy a hat. And then I saw your Instagram post and I thought, you know what, I quite fancy one of those for myself, thank you very much. And as I say, I was looking at it and I was thinking, that's a bit beyond my skill level. So
all knitters have the skill level for most things, it's just a case of getting a wee bit of practice in beforehand.
Now, a lot of people say to me, because I do a lot of cross stitch, a lot of people say to me, oh, I wouldn't have the patience for that, and I'm thinking it's really easy. So I suppose knitting is the same.
It is, it's just once you've got some practice in, you'll be fine.
Right, how many have we got now? 18, 19, 20.
Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do just half of one now because we want an odd stitch,
right,
just to help us set things up. So we're going to go under the front, up through the middle, round once and stop, and that will give you just a single stitch. And now you'll notice that those two have got just one twist on them. Yeah, what I want you to do is I want you to catch the blue one in your fingers and just hold it there so that you can swap round ready to knit. And that's just going to hold that in place for you. Okay, so the casting on, that's called a tubular cast on, is nice and straightforward.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to do 2 rows of knitting here. We're actually going to do what feels like 4 rows of knitting, but it's only 2 because we're going to only knit half the stitches at a time.
Right.
So we're going to knit all the white ones and then all the green ones, or in your case all the brown ones, then all the blue ones. Right, so it's really, really simple.
So just a normal knit stitch?
Just an ordinary knit stitch. You're going to knit that first stitch. Right, and then as if you were going to purl a stitch, you're going to bring the wool to the front. And then you're just going to slide into the front of that next coloured stitch, but don't do anything with it, just move it from one needle to the other. And pop the yarn back to the other side and knit the next stitch.
Okay.
Right? Bring the yarn back to the back of the work. Slip the next stitch.
Oh, I think I've ended up with an extra stitch here.
I'll tell you what's happened. It's really simple. That's all that's happened.
Right.
There it is. Your work had just got twisted.
Just like my personality. Ha 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 ha.
I'm saying nothing. Not after 15 years. And you're just going to continue to slip one and then put that yarn back. And you're going to knit the brown stitches and slip the blue stitches.
That I can just about manage.
You see, folks, when you start doing something like this for the first time, it might be stressful and you might want to throw it at the window or at the cat if you're not particularly fond of cats, or at your partner if they happen to be sitting quietly in a corner minding their own business watching NCIS or whatever.
Or in my case, at your father.
Say nothing. And I'm going to stop just before that last stitch. Now, because we're only working with a few stitches here,
so am I stopping here then, John?
You're going to stop just before that double
just before
stitch.
The
yeah. So you're going to have one more brown to knit.
Okay.
Right. And now this is going to sound completely counterintuitive. Just leave that one hanging. Just take that pin out and leave that last cast on hanging because we don't need it. Right? And then the whole lot is going to be slid to the opposite end of that circular needle.
And that's the beauty of circular needles.
Yes. If you were working with double pointed needles, you could do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a circular. Now this time we're going to work with the other colour. When you get to the other side, so because we knitted the first batch, we're going to purl the second batch.
Right.
But it's exactly the same process. So this yarn will be sitting at the front anyway. So we can slip the first one because it's the wrong colour.
Yep.
We purl the next one.
If we can remember how to do a purl stitch.
So you're slipping in from the front of the stitch, once round.
Yeah. It's been a while since I knitted anything.
Right. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to move the yarn to the front of the work, slip the brown stitch, move it back,
We're
and
slipping
purl
it from the front.
No. No, you just slip it purl-wise.
Right.
Right. We'll back up, purl the next one.
I think I've ended up with extra stitches again. Do you know what's happened? I've dropped a stitch.
Ah! You've dropped a stitch. Well, let's just rescue it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It hasn't actually gone anywhere. Ah, no, that's what happened. That was your yarn behind, which should be there. So there you go, you're absolutely fine. No, that's on the wrong side. It should be on that side for you. And it should be with that way around. There you go.
Thank you.
Ready to purl. See, that's the joys of teaching one-to-one. You can actually take the time to find mistakes and swap them. And working with classes of up to maybe a dozen folk, I find that really straightforward. I don't find it at all fiddly or stressful, because the first time people do things can be a nightmare for them. So, patience. I mean, none of this is earth-shatteringly awful and can be repeated.
I'm just laughing because I'm remembering the first time I tried knitting.
I remember the first time I tried knitting as well.
I cast on about 20 stitches just to learn how to do it, you know. And I ended up with about 40 by like the third row or something. My mother was like, "What have you done?"
I'm being normal is the reply.
And I ended up with all sorts of holes in it from drop stitches. And
again, that's normal. I can't imagine how my grandmother managed to have the patience to get me through that first piece of knitting that I did. How she managed not to lose her sanity or the desire to want to throttle me, I don't know. So at the end of this row we'll have done what is effectively one row of double knitting. So we're creating a two-sided garment with space between the two, which is going to make the tube, which is flexible at the beginning, at the start of this piece of knitting. And it's a really useful, well, I find it a really useful way of creating a start to my knitting.
So what am I doing with this last brown?
Just slip the last one. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And then turn it round and we're ready to start again. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do exactly the same as we did with the first row. We're going to, for you, knit the browns, for me, knit the beige, and we're going to slip the other colour. Remembering that that yarn's going to have to come to one side of the work and then be moved back each time you slip. So it should be nice and straightforward, and we will be back because we'll edit this bit out and we will come back at the end of this row. See you in a bit. See, the thing about this, if you've mastered the cast on and setting up, you can actually go off and cast on, practice casting on, and when you're ready just cast on the right number of stitches for a hat. And you can do the set-up rows for the hat.
How do you work out how many stitches you need to fit you?
Well, funnily enough, that's actually quite straightforward. because having knitted so many of them recently, I know that they all need to come in at roughly the same size, which is a good thing. Okay.
Does that look about right?
That's looking about right. So now we're going to do the same thing again with the purple, and this is going to be the last bit of our setup. So we're going to be slipping the browns this time and knitting the blues. I'll be slipping the beige and knitting the green, purling the greens rather. So it's purl this time.
And I'm coming at it from this side, am I?
Yeah.
Sorry, what is knitting the...
You're going to be knitting the brown and purling the greens.
Knitting the brown and purling the green. At least you didn't have to waste time teaching me how to knit and purl.
No, the fact that you've done a wee bit before helps a lot.
I can do slip slip knit as well.
Well, you will have a wee bit of that to do at some point in the near future, but it shouldn't be anything too horrendous for you. Do you know something? I'm wondering why this is looking strange, and I'm just realising that I made a boo-boo on the second time round.
Right.
Because in the second time round we're not going to knit the browns, we're going to purl the browns and we're going to knit. Thick as shit in the neck of a bottle.
I've not heard that before.
Oh.
I've heard thick as shit before, but I've not heard that.
Yeah. Let's have a look, did I get you to do the self-same thing?
Yeah.
I did get you to do the self-same thing, so we are going to cheat with you. And we're going to go...
Yeah, every time I have to unravel something I just give it to my mother. I can't do that.
Well, the trick is to only ever do as much as you can pick up in one go. Fortunately, because otherwise it's a pain in the tonsils. Quite literally.
I still have my tonsils. So.
I still have mine, but in saying that I still have them doesn't mean that they're at all working the way they should at the moment, since my throat is less than pleasant.
I've no appendix and no gallbladder, but I've still got my tonsils.
I'm lucky I still have both of those, but for how long one wonders. My appendix, like anybody else, it could be any time. My gallbladder, I do have gallstones, but they've never turned into anything that they've needed to deal with.
Oh God, the worst pain I've ever experienced. And I've had Crohn's for 15 years. So.
Well, when they found the gallstones, they said, if they ever turn into something, you'll know about it, so don't worry.
Oh, believe me, you will.
And I said, oh, that's great, thanks very much. What do I do? Oh, you phone us when that happens and we'll have you come in. I thought it was quite funny. It was a physician that I was seeing rather than a surgeon. And he said, oh, no, he said, that's fine. He said that you've got... When I went in for them to find out what was... why my lungs weren't behaving.
Yeah.
The CT scan showed up that I had gallstones and kidney stones. Yeah, there's your added bonus.
Yeah.
You can, because your lungs aren't behaving, but you've got gallstones and kidney stones, have fun. It's the gallows sense of humour that they have to live with.
Absolutely. I mean, my Crohn's consultant, he's got the most warped sense of humour ever. I mean, you've met my dad. It's kind of just like my dad in that sense. You know, when I first met him, it was before I got diagnosed, because it was him that diagnosed me. And I sat down and he said, well, so, I've read your notes, and you've had this 100 years. And I was like, yeah, that'll be me. And I sort of said to him, I said, let me take you right back to the beginning. And he went, what, back to 1942? And I was like, yeah.
Well, at least he sounds as if he's got a sense of humour.
Oh, he does, he really does. A lot of people don't like him because he's arrogant and because of his sense of humour. I think he says a lot of things that a lot of people would take to heart. Like when I go in for a scope, for example, he'll say to me, right, lots of sedation to shut you up. And I can see how some people might not like that. But I see it for what it is. It's just a funny way of breaking the ice type thing.
Yeah.
And he'll come onto the ward and he'll say, right, there she is, the vomit comet. And again, I think that's, I find that funny, but I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like that.
Alright, we'll put this in as the, getting the second time through started.
So nobody ever knows.
Oh, I did yours, but I didn't do mine. Will that matter? Let's 30 seconds or so as well to just take it.
Yeah.
Right, second time round on the setup, we're going to be puddling the foreground colour and knitting the background colour. So you're going to be puddling the brown.
So I want there, stick that in there.
Move your yarn to the front, slip one purlwise and bring the yarn to the back again. So yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back. And just keep on like that until you get to the end. That's just terrible having all this quiet downtime in the average podcast. It feels strange. It also feels strange for the people who watch my podcast to see me knitting from that side, because normally if I'm doing a demonstration I have a GoPro camera strapped to my head and they're looking at my hands. They don't get to see my face, which is quite a blessing for most things. Now, for a small fee, if enough people pass comment, what we'll do at the end of this is the pattern that we create for Rachel, we will also provide a written version of, and that written version will go up on Ravelry and will be available for folk to download. And
you mean my hat won't be one of a kind?
your hat will not be one of a kind, but with good reason, Rachel.
No, I know.
Anyone who downloads it has to give an undertaking that they can have the pattern completely free of charge as long as they show in the Ravelry thread their receipt for a donation to a Crohn's charity wherever they live. So as long as they make a donation to Crohn's disease research where they live, they'll get the pattern free of charge. And if they don't show a receipt, then everybody will know that they're a meanie, because I will name and shame.
Sounds good to me.
Fred Bloggs downloaded this a month ago and he hasn't made his donation. Poor old Fred Bloggs.
Should probably tag Crohn's and Colitis UK in this when you post it on Instagram.
Well, sometimes it's worth giving a pattern away if it pays it forward and creates some goodwill and creates some fundraising for charities who need the extra money. I did it with a sock pattern for babies and for premature babies.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, there have been 230 donations of pairs of socks or little cash gifts to different neonatal units around the world. That's fine.
Well, if that's £1 per person, that's £230. So.
Yeah. So I mean, every little helps these organisations.
Absolutely.
Right, end of that row?
Yep.
Well, this time we're going to slip the first one and then we're going to knit the blue one.
So we're slipping it knitwise then?
No, purlwise.
Purlwise.
And then you're going to knit the blue one. Blue yarn should be sitting at the back anyway. So, slip that back on again. Remember, you need to slip to the other end of the double-ended needle.
I've not really worked with circular needles before. I've made one hat before. Wow. I don't know if you've seen the TV show Firefly. I made a replica of the Jane's hat for one of my friends. So that's the only time I've worked with circular needles. Right. So I'm just gonna pull it in. We're knitting the blue, are we?
You're knitting the blue one, and then the yarn will go to the back, go to the front, you'll slip purlwise, it'll go to the back again. And that's your setup. Well, that's the first bit done. We'll be ready to set up for the brioche section next. Now, there are other people who like to use other methods of creating cast-ons for this type of two-colour brioche. I find that the tubular cast-on with just that 2 rows of double knitting give me the most flexible cushiony edge, especially for hats. Just enough stretch, it always pulls back in itself. So from that point of view, I'm happy with the way it works. If you have a personal preference of a way you do it, let us know about it. What method do you use and why? Nip into the Ravelry group when this video goes up and leave us a message. We'll make sure that Rachel signs on to Ravelry, joins the group so that she can comment.
I just think I do have a page. I'm not sure if I have an account or not.
You seem to be doing fine so far. Rachel's working with some chunky, I'm working with some Arden, and it just happened to be odds and ends that were lying. You'll recognise Rachel's chunky because it's already been used for 2 brioche hats, so there's not enough to get another hat out of it, but there is enough. Well, there might just be enough to get another hat out of it because it only uses 40 pairs of stitches, so it doesn't take an awful lot.
We're just slipping this last one.
Yeah, you're just slipping the last one and then you can turn your needles around ready to go. Now, we're going to move on to what's called two-colour brioche, which is what you're looking to learn. In the round, it'll be slightly different, but we can fix that when we're in the round. We're just going to be working in the flat today, so just watch and I'll do the first couple of stitches for you. So, it's really hard. You're going to knit, bring it to the front, slip it purlwise, and then I'm not moving the yarn, I'm just going to knit so that I'll automatically get a yarn over, so that that stitch has now got a little shawl wrapped around it.
So it's like creating a new stitch type?
Yeah, so yarn comes to the front, slip one purlwise, and then knit one, so that you've automatically created a yarn over. Yarn to the front, slip, knit. Yarn to the front, slip, knit, and just do that to the end.
Do we knit our first?
You're going to knit the first one.
Knit the first one. Then yarn to the front.
Yeah, slip purlwise.
Slip purlwise.
And then knit the next
and
stitch.
Then knit next stitch. Yarn to the front. Slip purlwise and knit.
I think there's a seagull sitting on the roof.
I think there just might be. Weather's turning quite nasty outside.
Yeah, it's not been the it was lovely and bright earlier on, but there's some horrid grey clouds have moved in.
It started hailing as soon as I got in the car. I was like, oh cheers. I'll drive to Inverness tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're right. Now the thing you'll discover with this stitch is it's deceptive because it suddenly expands a massive amount. Slip, yarn forward, before the slip. Yay! You notice that I haven't spent much time watching what she's knitting because I have confidence in her.
I don't know why.
If nothing else, you were always quite good at following instructions. Right, so we're going to slip to the other end of the needles.
Right.
So that we can work with the other yarn.
Does that look about right?
Yeah, it looks okay so far. And I've given you a bamboo needle so that it they don't just slide off the end, which can sometimes happen.
I prefer bamboo needles to.
Right, so we're purling this time. So we're going to slip the first stitch purlwise. And then we're going to purl the stitch and its yarn over and its shawl.
Right.
So we're going to purl the two of them together.
So I want to bring this yarn to the back then, don't I?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's it. Now we're going to slip the next stitch purlwise. And we're going to go round the needle to make another shawl and bring it.
So
we're going round to the back and bring it underneath into the front.
Just like that?
Yeah. And then we can purl the next two together.
Right.
And then we're slipping a stitch, yarn round needle, purl two together.
Oh, that way round.
Yeah.
Purl two together.
Slip one. Oh, you're nearly there.
Come on. There we go.
That's it. Slip one's next.
Slip one.
Yarn round needle.
Yarn round the needle.
Purl two together. Slip one. Yarn round needle. Purl two together. And when you get to the last stitch, it's going to be a slip one. And you're not worrying about getting the yarn round the needle, you're just going to slip that last stitch.
Okay.
Now if there's anybody who hasn't worked two-colour brioche before, there are dozens and dozens of tutorials out there. Don't rely on watching this. This is just us having a bit of fun, and we thought it'd be something nice to put into the podcast. Because I do go out and teach classes when I'm asked to. And I thoroughly enjoy myself when I'm teaching. And when it's someone that you've known for a long time and they're just looking to expand their skill base a little, it's a nice thing to do for any of you knitters out there. So if you get the chance, share your experience. It's good for you.
Just to slip the last one.
Just slip the last one. And then you can turn it round and we're ready to go back to your brown yarn. Now this time, you'll notice that your blue is showing the V's of knits. If you look at it, it's got the V of a knit. Yeah? And the browns are showing purple pumps. So that tells us we're going to purl the browns this time. So it's exactly the same thing as that you've just done.
Right.
So we're going to purl the brown, slip one, purlwise, yarn over needle.
I think we've got a bit of a disaster here.
No, you haven't. Yarn round needle.
That way?
Yeah.
Yep. And then purl.
All that's happened is you've pulled that stitch and made it big. You just tighten it up again. Right, and you're going to purl two together.
See, I've got a bit of a...
Right, so what have we got? We've got yarn round needle, and we've got...
Have I dropped the stitch?
No, you haven't dropped a stitch. What you've done, and it's really easy to do, somehow you've managed to combine two stitches into one. So where that would have been a stitch with a yarn over, you'd actually knitted it in advance.
Right.
So all you need to do is you'd actually knitted it through its own loop. There you go, that's you back to normal. And that is easy to do. When you're moving, as you start to build up speed, I have seen me do my yarn overs and knit them instead of leaving them as yarn overs.
I think I've done it quite a few times actually, by the looks of things.
No, that should even itself out. Right. So you're ready now that you're going to be slipping a blue one.
Slip the blue.
Careful, careful. Yeah, slip that one. Yarn round needle. and then a brown and a blue together. And that should leave you with a blue one ready to slip. Slip a blue one, yarn round needle, purl two together, slip a blue one, yarn round the needle, purl two together. That's it, you've got the rhythm. I'm going to sit back and relax. We'll probably edit a lot of these middle bits out, so don't panic if you think we're suddenly shortchanging you. And we are going to be sitting here for about an hour and a half, and that's going to give us enough for 2 or 3 podcasts. So this sort of series of little videos will probably extend over the course of 6 months to get to the end of the hat.
By which time it'll be summer and I won't need it.
But there's a lot of people knit a season ahead of what they're going to be needing.
Yeah.
Right, so you got to the end of that one, almost.
Slip around the needle, purl two together. So I've got 2 left here.
Right, so you're going to slip yarn through needle, yarn round needle, and you're just going to purl the last one. And that's you ready to slip back to the other end of your needle and to your other colour. Swing that round for myself so that my wool's not becoming too tangled. Right, so this time we are knitting rather than purling.
Okay.
So we can slip the first stitch purl-wise because it's brown. And you're left with a blue one with a shawl over it. We're going to knit the 2 of those together using your blue yarn. Remember to swap onto your blue yarn. So you're going to knit that, yarn forward, bring your yarn to the front, slip one, and then you've got to knit 2 together. Yarn forward, slip one, knit 2 together. And you're just going to keep that running until you get to the end again, and you'll finish same as you started with a slip one.
Okay.
Okay, so lay it in front of yourself, have a look at it, and you should see that you've got a set of brown V's at the front, which you have there. Right, coming up nicely. Something's gone wrong with that one.
I'm not really surprised.
All you've done is you've worked a colour change. So you're fine. For a first attempt, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Well, hello folks. That was my friend Rachel and I about 6-8 weeks ago recording the first part of her journey into 2-colour brioche. We decided that I would break it down and show you the bits that were working well, and 1 or 2 bits got edited out because we were just sitting saying nothing. We hope that's fine with you. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I've invited her back to do another session and we'll look at the next part of the process. And I hope you enjoy watching the start of her learning journey. It's just for fun. Beardychiel's help play. It's people who come in and ask for little bits of help, and I'm happy to do it. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time with Rachel when we do her next update. So until then, keep healthy, keep knitting. Cheerio.